quick summary into religion, out of religion for me, and then why we're doing this, and what we're doing. And what we're doing is reading the New Testament straight through and jumping around on old stories.
Like I said on that topic, I pretty much was me just describing it. Like how I grew up indoctrinated, basically, Baptist.
Religious family.
I'm talking, very devout father. Mother, much more open-minded. Mom was into sci-fi and stuff and horror movies, you know what I mean? So she was fun. But, and I think if you approach religion with more humor, you get not taken by it.
Yeah.
You know? But, yeah, I was totally into it. Church twice a week. Started getting fed up with it young. Started asking questions that was getting me, like, slightly outcasted.
Right.
You know? Like, I remember, like, me and my sister were in, Sunday school. And the preacher was talking about, I've told you this story before, was talking about any music that's not sung for the Lord is evil. And my sister goes, And the preacher goes, yes. And she goes, well, I guess Mozart's burning in hell. And the whole class like erupts in laughter.
That's awesome.
It's like thoughts like that make me go, And so by the time I was a teenager, I was already well into reading this thing, well into being like, it was started with Old Testament, which meant I was saying, this is a lot of bullshit up in here, you know, like Samson and Noah. There's 2 Noah stories and all that, and there's like, it's not just 2 animals, it's like 7. It's like people don't even know what it says.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So I was basically like becoming Buddhist as a teenager. I'm like an atheist Buddhist, I don't know, and I went that way by being open-minded.
Yeah.
And by not getting any satisfaction out of this. And I think a lot of people don't know what it says, so would like to offer the service of
reading
a reasonable look at this.
Yeah.
What people take to heart and will like tell other people what to do because it says.
Yeah.
And shit that affects other people.
Yeah. So I was raised up in like the Assembly of God Church. That's like a new like kind of like it's okay to have like skater kid hair.
Yeah, and you'd have the occasional like person with a hat. What do you call that?
Like a yarmulke type thing?
That's it, yarmulke. Because for a while, my family went to a people's church, which was just like everything. It was like everybody, people would speak in tongues and shit.
Yeah, see,
it was a massive, huge church too, like thousands of people.
When I was little, I thought the church that I was going to was kind of like a Jewish church, you know, because there was this old lady that would go there, really old lady, and she'd start speaking in tongues, and I thought she was speaking like Yiddish. You know what I mean? So I thought she was Jewish, and I thought she was from the old country, and she was bringing, and I would tell I'd ask my mom what language that lady was speaking, and she's like, she's not speaking any language, and I couldn't understand. I couldn't get I couldn't understand it.
Same here.
It wasn't until high school that somebody described to me speaking in tongues. And if you don't know, it's that the Lord's getting into you so hardcore that you can't pronounce words and such, and that you're speaking in some sort of just
I think I took it as just so you're bullshitting or something.
Yeah.
Or possessed.
Yeah. I used to like believe it, when I was like, in high school and stuff, and I was like, but I never felt it, and I never faked it. I never did that, and now I look at people that do it, and I think it's fake as hell.
Yeah.
You can see they're just like, they're just kind of, some people are good at it.
Yeah.
Some people aren't good at it, and those people that aren't good at it, it's really obvious that you're not fucking.
Well, man, I had to go to church twice a week all the way until I was 17. How about you?
I went to for the one, until I was like 10, just about everything we did was church function related. You know what I mean? Like all of our like social anything was always at a church thing, a church gathering, church people.
Like I went to summer camp a lot, always Christian.
Yeah.
I went to snow camps too.
Yes, exactly. We went to a few things. Every time we went to like any kind of function, it was always for the church. It was a potluck. It was always this. So
there's lots of those too.
Yeah. And my mom would drag me to like a Christian singles thing, and where I'd sit in the back and like I always have to play some coloring book or some toys that weren't offensive in any degree, like Bible toys.
Oh yeah. Where it really cartoons out, like the story of Samson.
Yeah. And so I went to church, though, every Sunday, and he's like, I heard the stories, and of course the whitewashed, versions of them, and, it was like when I started getting older, though, I started having questions, but the questions were all apologetic. I started, you know what I mean? I started really thinking that I was thinking and thinking out of the box, but it was still all aimed towards, theism. It wasn't like asking questions of like, is there a God? It was just like, I would wonder like, why would God send people to hell for certain things? And then I started having this like kind of real hippie concept of like, you guys don't even know Jesus, man. Jesus would just want like everyone to get along, and who cares if? And when I was in high school, I was in a band, and my bass player was Mormon, and so we hung out, and I was just like, dude, there's no way this dude's going to hell. He's a good kid, and he don't know no better. Yeah, he's like he was raised up thinking it. We think deeply. We think exactly the same about the same thing, just from a different angle.
Man,
so then I kind of came up with this construct of God spoke to Buddhists in a way Buddhists would understand. God spoke to freaking.
I had that thought too. I know exactly what you're talking about. Like God divided himself around.
But now, like as an atheist, I think about like that is foolish to think, because it's
if it's a human construct, it would be that way too.
Yeah. It's just like, I mean, seriously, these texts that I thought that Jesus would have, or God would have had these different cultures write down. I had no idea what was in them. And when you start reading these things, like I did to the Bible, you start seeing that it's full of like things that humans would make up, you know what I mean? And little stories that don't quite make sense.
And how it tries to fix itself, you know.
Yeah.
like if they were to make a Bible version too, all slavery would be conveniently out, I'm sure. Or just a footnote in the old school.
Oh man, they'd love to.
I hate to go for the obvious, but there's so much obvious to go for in this book. It's what I'm like. It was made to manipulate and control people. Yeah. And it was made over generations. People who have been doing it and learning how to do it, you know?
Yeah. Well, for me, I end up reading like most people do. That's the thing I started finding out, is a lot of people became atheists by actually reading what they,
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, for me, it was.
Yeah. People don't know about the talking donkeys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that one. Like, where he's beating him on the road.
Yeah. That one's one of the ones which is
I remember that one did surprise me.
That's where from Shrek. I wonder if that, because there's a whole bunch of literature like in there that's like from fairy tales. Yeah. And where's that talking donkey from? What fairy tale is the talking donkey from? Yeah. The Bible. But anyways, what is so that's kind of like where we come from and how we got out of religion. Eric way more earlier than me.
Well, maybe I took longer though too. I was a much slow, it was like I said, it was by being open-minded, I think, by asking more questions, by not being afraid to explore. Yeah. Like I read a book about Wicca. I have Wiccan friends. Wiccans are good people, for the record.
I was in my mid-20s, I say, when I finally realized that any kind of
started to question the right
stories. I was questioning things, but I was making up my own rules, and I didn't really realize I was making up my own rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I took a read, and you'll hear some soon, I guess. Right? I read Samson one day because I wanted to know the story about Samson, how he whooped. I wanted to know it verbatim and not just kind of hearsay. And then when I read it, I was like, wow, this is like Thor. This is like Hercules. This is, it's not like a story of like something that could have happened. It's obviously something that's made up by, fucking people, It's Paul Bunyan, like you say, it's the same
Paul,
as Paul Bunyan,
it is folk tales of the region.
Anyways, but what we decided is we're going to read this New Testament straight through and discuss it every bit of the way, as kind of what's happening, and try not to get just droned into reading the whole thing and for no reason. We want to read a little bit, talk about it, It kind of can be confusing sometimes, so you have to stop every once in a while and be like, okay, so wait a minute, what just fucking happened right here?
Yes, we'll be taking turns reading it and discussing a lot. And we're also hoping to get it open to the community, man.
Yeah.
It's like if you hate on what we're doing, it's like, oh, sorry you hate us, please move on. Yeah. We don't leave hateful comments on your stuff.
Just a couple of average dudes. We're gonna go through this.
With a reasonable point of view.
No shortage of people that go through far more in depth. Coverage of the Bible, but it's we're just gonna talk about it in plain words, plain English, man. Discuss it for the laid man, for the blue collared man.
Yeah, for people who don't know and people who don't even know that they're on the fence.
Yeah, because a lot of people
just society. It's because everybody kind of naturally sort of goes along. We're at 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you know, throw a little humor up in there because there's been I've been able to get like throw a joke to a theist and they'll actually think about it because, you know, it'll be a joke. You know what I mean? Like I said once, I was like, there's no way that Adam and Eve's first frickin', you know, when they bit into the apple of knowledge, their first fucking idea was, holy shit, I'm embarrassed. If they frickin' didn't understand that they had a hot ass wife and a hot ass husband, the first thing they thought of after they bit the fucking apple was like, oh damn.
Yeah.
You know, like, god damn. Yeah. It's like, what are you looking at, Eve? Why do you keep looking down there, Eve? And she's like, just bite the apple, you'll see. And he's like, oh god damn, girl.
It's like, right?
Like when God strolled up, man, it wasn't because they were just hiding. Wait, they were like, whoa, whoa, whoa! They got startled.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah.
Hey, boundaries, dude, boundaries, man, boundaries. And God was like, what do you know about boundaries, man?
But it's like it takes all how anything could have naturally or realistically happened, and they're just like, oh, in magic.
Yeah.
God decided now, or God let us decide, and then the woman did. Oh, but even though I wanted you to do that, you're evil forever now.
You're like people don't even think about it. It's like, because when you're with your wife or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, your husband, you're generally not embarrassed to be naked in front of them. You know what I'm saying? And that's just being an average person. That's just average person.
Yeah.
If you're Adam and Eve, the perfect specimens, you know what I mean? However you could picture yourself, I wish I was buffer, I wish I was taller, I wish I was this or that, I wish I was skinnier, I wish I had a bigger dick. The fucking
there's like,
Adam and Eve were the fucking
pectoral muscles are too small.
They were hardcore, you know what I mean? They looked perfect, and
probably.
So that's what they were, the perfect people, right? They were that's according
supposedly,
to them.
Yeah.
And people don't even think about, like, you know, if you bit in the apple, you wouldn't have been embarrassed. There was no one around. The only reason you're embarrassed to be naked is when you're in front of people that you shouldn't be naked in front of.
That's a really good point, man. I never thought about
people
that.
Don't really think about that one. It's just like, dude, I mean, even I don't fucking look amazing. You know, everyone wish they could look better and shit, but it's like, you've been with your wife or your significant other long enough, after a minute, getting naked in front of them to change your clothes is just fucking par for the course. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're not all like, don't. And if you're telling me, like, dude, most couples, just the way they are, if they were in a fucking, like, on a deserted island, they could dude, they'd fuck like crazy. They'd be outdoor sex. Hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're telling me Adam and Eve were like, you know, oh my God.
Until she gets knocked up, and then you'd be like, ooh.
Well, there's people that dig that too.
Having tons of kids on a desert island.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, essentially that was their plan, right? I mean, you know, the garden.
I think it was God's plan. I think they had no idea what it was. I think he was just like, damn, you look good. Hold on, I want to try something. Yeah. And she was like, okay, I guess. I get what you're saying. And
Christians, like, make, you know, jokes about, like, you know, Noah's Ark and stuff. And it's like, I can understand, like, you know, dealing with people. I can understand why Noah didn't want to take people with him on the ark. I'm like, yeah, until you got off the ark and had to fuck your kids and have your kids fuck each other and have your kids fuck your wife so you can fucking populate humanity with the fucking enough variants to fucking do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Which brings me right back around to what I mean by it was... You know, there's no way we could all come from two people. You know what I mean? It's like that's the reason why cheetahs are dying out is because at one point their whole population was taken down to like one family, and they can't genetically like do it, even though cats are really resilient to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're starting to wander off.
Yeah, well, the thing of it is the Old Testament's full of freaking, like it's just like, it's easy. You just like, boom, here's another, it's like shooting fish in the barrel. The New Testament's always the go-to to people. When you get them cornered on something in the Old Testament, they always go to the New Testament. So that's why we're just skipping to the New Testament. We're going to read this mother flower. We're going to talk about it every so far away.
We're just going to go right through it.
But we'll probably have an Old Testament episode once in a while because they're fun. They're fucking fun. And people don't know about certain things. So.
Samson's fun. We already recorded Samson.
We're going to drop Samson. It's going to be good. And that was like kind of one of our ideas to do this because I was like, I wanted to record because that was what got me. That was when I was like, like the light bulb went over. Like it was like I was just like, because I'd never really read one part of the Bible straight through. I always kind of cherry picked it. Knew a good portion of certain stories. I knew a good portion of Noah's Ark. I knew a good portion of freaking
just because of being in Sunday school, right?
Exactly, yeah. You know what I mean? And I knew more than the average person, I felt, because I'm a person that kind of pays attention to shit, you know?
Yeah, me too.
Like, I mean, I knew a lot more about history than all my friends, but they were in history with me and shit because they were bored by it and I was fucking interested in it, you know? So I remembered a lot of the fucking Bible and the Bible stories, but when I got older, when I read, it was like I filled in all the fucking cracks of the stories that I thought I knew with the actual knowledge that I was just like, what the fuck? And that's probably why I wasn't taught all the shit, because you would have probably if I would have learned early at an early age. But yeah, Samson will be a fun one. That was my fucking kind of like, I was questioning shit, but I was still making apologetics and shit, making up my own rules. And then I was like, oh, these guys just made up a bunch of stories, man.